Hello, everyone. And today marks the third podcast of the Let Us Dream Triennial Conference podcast series. For today's podcast, we have Mr. Rajesh PI with us. Uh, Sir, first of all, I would like to ask you, how are you feeling about Let Us Dream Triennial Conference that is going to be held?
I'm very excited about it. This is something that even last time when we had the triennial, it was a very exciting experience. So much of exposure happened. So many experiences. Looking forward to it. We've been working very hard on it. So many volunteers, so many of us. And this is a volunteer run driven initiative. The work is phenomenal. So, therefore, the output must be very, very enriching. I'm very hopeful about that.
So while I was researching about you when I received your name as the guest, I saw that you are also a part of theater, which I also do in my college time. So I wanted to ask you, if you look at the past, so was there somewhere like a version of you who was, who somehow already knew how to spend his life helping people transform, or was that something which you got after you got into theater and the healing rooms?
Yeah, exactly. Because theater, the first time I got to theater was when I was in college. I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
I graduated in 95 from Christ, then known as Christ College, today Christ University. When I joined theaters, basically I wanted to act. I wanted to hog the stage. I wanted to have fun. And I found it an extremely exhilarating experience. I'm actually a very shy person at heart. So theater helped build that the extrovert in me, and that was a phenomenal experience. And then over the years, then I got into direction, and then I got to training theater, and then I understood that there was a greater beauty in molding others, in giving others a glimpse of the magic of the stage. And I felt supremely equipped to do that, and I love doing that. And then at some point, the joy of putting myself out as an actor sort of paled in comparison to what was happening here, because here it was like the joy of seeing somebody else being put on the stage. So I do still act, but that's very little actually compared to what I do in terms of helping others get on the stage.
So, what was your first play, if I would ask?
First play was actually for the Social Sciences Association. We did a play on a social evil like dowry or something, you know.
Yeah.
And there I play the role of the father of the teenage daughter, of the young daughter. And I remember I had to they whitened my hair with chalk piece.
I remember, sir,
And we had
I
a
had recently
professor.
got,
Huh?
I had
Yeah,
recently gone bald for that look.
oh, you shaved your head. Oh, I've done
Yeah.
that too, shaving head. Shave mustache. I used to have a very good mustache then. Yeah, so doing all of that. In fact, when I got my hair colored, no white, there was a professor, very a respected professor called Oman Matthew, who was teaching English. Okay. And
Okay.
he had all taken chalk white hair he had. So somebody was passing by and they saw me sitting over there. They didn't realize. They said, "Oh, Oman Matthew sir is also watching." And then they came and said, "Rajesh, it was you," and we didn't recognize you. So that was a really wonderful experience. Yeah.
So, sir, they say like whenever somebody does some extraordinary things in their life, they carry a quite wound somewhere in the past. So, if you're comfortable in sharing, would you share what yours might have been?
See, you see, give it so much of importance to these wounds, right? All of us have
Yeah.
wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, or everybody, whether we do something extraordinary or not, we are carrying a wound. Okay. Some of us who are lucky get to do something which we can call extraordinary in that sense. But otherwise, we are the most, I would say, vulnerable species in that regard, right? And we are exposed to trauma the moment we are born, because the human child is something that is that requires so much of support going on to till they grow up, whereas that's not the case in the animal kingdom. They they are they are born and they start running instantaneously. Anyhow, But definitely, so the thing is that the I lost my father very young, at the age of 9. So that was my the earliest wound. The earliest wound was of seeing a parent, a sick parent. So he was constantly in and out of hospitals, and I just wondered all the time, how come my dad only was so sick? How come other dads were all healthy? So for me, I think that was my earliest wound. Yeah, yeah, and then of course, then other wounds take different places. Then we learn to navigate around it. Yeah.
So there's something like about theater, like you found it at the right moment. And I researched that there's one particular art form that you have practiced most in theater, that was playback theater. So
Yes.
I would like to ask you, like, why does this particular art form move you so deeply? Why did you choose this particular art form?
Because of the trauma I experienced in conventional theater itself.
Okay,
So what was happening was in conventional theater itself, I was like, I found there were so many directors who were brilliant, but who did
okay.
not, who created processes which were very painful, you know, which were physically very taxing, which were emotionally very disturbing. And finally, when we put up the production, the production is brilliant. People love it. They say, oh, this is excellent. But I was like, but it was painful. And I was like, why should it be this way that in order to create something beautiful, you have to experience so much of pain? And I refused to look at it that way. I always felt there must be some other way. I did not know what it was. In 2000, I stumbled, along with my theater group, we stumbled into my then theater group, we stumbled into this form called playback theater. We had two trainers coming from New Zealand, Australia, and they trained us in that form. And what I understood was this form, there's so much of empathy and connection, which is what I was craving for, and it's a brilliant form. And today, if I look at playback theater, is one of those forms which uh, actually take the actor to another level, you know, far more powerful than traditional forms. So when people come to me for coaching, like movies and stuff like that, I say, you come and learn playback theater because you will learn a lot about improvisational acting in this form. So
So
that
you've
is
also
why I
stood,
love it.
yeah.
Huh?
So you've also stood in front of the camera, like you've done far more conventional roles. So you were once the antagonist in a web series. You shared the
Yeah.
screen with some legends. So what was that experience? Like, how did that teach you about humility and all?
See, it is a very powerful experience because I was acting with people like Renuka Shahane. I was acting
Yeah,
with uh, uh, Kurush Debu. That's his name, right? The guy who acts as in Munaba MBBS. He's the one who writes his exam for Sanjay Dutt.
yeah.
You know. So he was there. Then Prithviraj Sani was there. These are all very senior actors, okay, and the caliber is vastly different. And I was acting with them literally shoulder to shoulder in so many scenes, and I found that they respected fellow actors. See, in the theater, I've seen a lot of disrespect. Okay. And I do know that it exists in the film industry because if somebody is
Yeah.
new, the people don't even give them any respect and stuff like that. It's all about pedigree and it's all about who you are, what you've done, blah, 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 all of that. But here, what is happening, they were recognizing talent. And on the basis of my talent, I was sitting with them. I was literally with them, and they were like treating me as an equal, which I found very fascinating. Okay, see, they could have treated me anyway. Okay, and that is their choice. But here, what was happening was they were respecting the actor in me, the craft, and which is how it should be anywhere for that matter, right? So if you're an actor and you're acting on with a fellow actor, you're trying to make that actor look better. That is a fundamental notion of acting. Make your fellow actor look better. Then automatically you look good. So that was what was happening. It was such a brilliant experience. And Mr. Prithviraj Sani was such a gentleman. I don't know, for some reason. So he's very old, okay. And so he would have his snack box and cut fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, which his assistant would give to him during these breaks. He would look at me and he said, no, you come here and you also eat. And I'm like, it felt like uh, taking a candy from a kid and eating. That's what I felt. So I was very touched by this gesture. And even if that particular web series is also on YouTube, it's called Starting Troubles. And those scenes have come out brilliantly. Brilliantly is an understatement. Yeah.
So, like the year 2012, that year seemed to have a like in a season like that should reshaped you from within. So, if you're open to it, would you walk us through what that chapter of your life looked like and
So
how it eventually led you toward Reiki?
yeah, so 2012 was the year I got divorced, and I was somebody who
Okay.
did not believe in this concept of divorce. I always felt if that one can communicate with anybody, and I was this master communicator, and I was this great playback actor, all of that. And I found that my communication had completely collapsed in my most precious relationship at that point in time. And so when the divorce happened, it was a massive shocker for me because I never imagined that kind of a scenario. And I went into a depression, which I did not know. So that is the same year, a dear friend who was seeing me struggling told me, I think you should learn Reiki. And the moment she said that, that changed a lot of things. And this is something I wanted to learn when I was 21. That's when I heard Reiki, about Reiki. And I'm doing it when I was 38, something like that. And I immediately got into it and I learned it. And within 3 months of practice, Reiki practice, I was able to come out of the depression. And over this last 14 years, I have never gone to a level of that nature. Of course, life has its ups and downs, and we all have to experience it. But my downs were also in such a manner where I have always felt supported after learning this form. Yeah.
Uh, so some people break and they stay broken, but you broke and somehow found meaning instead. So, what do you think made the difference for you?
Could you repeat that question, please?
So how did you like make yourself a difference from the other people who got broke and they stood broken, but you somehow found meaning in your life again? So what made the difference for you in that
So a lot
particular
of
case?
so the thing was, I think Reiki was that shift because it's a
Yeah.
very holistic practice. We cannot call Reiki a spiritual practice; it's a holistic practice, a healing of one's own chakras. Okay? So this daily self practice brought me to a very balanced state. And I was able, and then of course I went through multiple therapy processes along with Reiki. And what it brought me out was, so the thing is, in this world, with all of its pressures, all of its challenges, all of these things happening, there needs to be some kind of a, like, for example, if your vehicle is in a bad condition, you take it to the service station. We don't think twice, okay? And we know the difference when once the service is done, how smooth the vehicle is. It's a four-wheeler, two-wheeler, whatever it is, how smooth, how the engine is running, and you enjoy the experience if you've had a very good service, right? So some kind of servicing needs to happen for us as human beings. Because what is happening is a lot of energy gets depleted in all of these traumatic experiences. Okay. And then what happens is the resourcefulness of the individual just drops. Okay. So for me, that healing process enabled me to uh, see the pain doesn't go away. Okay. But what happens is you learn to live around it in a very healthy manner and you learn to grow from it, and that pain becomes your manure, which enables you to become more stronger. So actually it is a courageous step to get into some kind of therapy, some kind of healing, some kind of this one. So theater has also helped me in that therapeutic process, and I've always been an optimist. So therefore today when I look back, I am very thankful for that experience, because if that experience had not happened, I would have lived a very ordinary life. I would have lived a very whatever life. But because of that, there are so many new things that I did, so many things that I've got into, including LUD now. I mean, so it's marvelous. But then you will not be able to see the full picture when you're going through the trauma. You'll only be able to go see the whole picture in a very holistic manner once you have healed from it and you're given it suitable, sufficient distance and time.
Uh, so would you like you've described yourself as someone who has always believed, like someone who has felt more than once that there's something greater moving through life. So would you share one of those moments with us when you realize that there's something greater in our life that is moving through?
This happened when I was 9 years old. Okay. And that is the
Okay.
first time I realized that there is something far more greater than myself.
Okay.
So my father is dead, and we are doing his final cremation, or the final offerings after the cremation. All that, the final offerings, the final puja is being done in my village in Kerala. So my ancestral home is a very beautiful place. Okay, it's in Quailon district. It's a tongue of land, a strip of land. Just before it is a huge a stream, a river, and beyond about in the distance is the sea. So it's between the sea and the river. Okay. So we are doing the entire puja is happening, and the pandit is done and everything. And finally, now I am there. I'm a 9 year old boy, and the entire village is gathered because my father was a very loved man. Now my mother is crying somewhere in a room, and she's away and she's crying, and this one servant girl sitting next to her giving her company. She's forgotten by everybody else. Now the final offering is supposed to be made to the crows. Now, these are all these sea ravens, okay, jet black crows. Like if you have a puppet, they'll come, tack, one will take, and then another will go, catch, take it from the its hand. These are very sleek, smooth warriors, these guys. Okay, nothing is safe. So finally the offering to my dead ancestor, to my dad, and basically, so they gave a rice offering, and it's filled with just jaggery, this banana, and it's a very tasty kind of an offering. So they tell me to go and keep it over there. Now, by now, all the crows are all sitting, entire trees are filled with crows, they're all coined. I go ahead and I place it over there and I come back. And the crows are not watching, are still watching, they're not doing anything. So then they said, you know what, take it a little further. Then they push the people back. Go back, go back. Crows are afraid of you. And then we all move back. But then even me, I'm a 9 year old. I'm thinking, "Yeah, this is strange." Because normally these fellows have taken a puppet from me neatly. Okay, without even a blinking an eye. It's not been safe in my own hands. For this, we have to go for. I found very ridiculous. Anyhow, I went ahead further away, a no man's land. I placed and came back. No, they're still not moving. Then my grand uncle was there, my father's elder brother. So he said, you know what? I think I need to do this because my brother loved me the most. I'm going to do this. So he went and he took it and he went further and he placed it. Still, the crows were waiting. Now we were all in a panic because this has to be eaten by the crows. Only then the whole ceremony, the ritual is complete. Then suddenly the pandit, the priest, remembered that about my mother. He said, "Where's the boy's mother?" Then people told, that's when people, oh yeah, where is she? Then they went looking for and they found her, brought her. She was very weak. She was very weak with grief, and then she became walking. And I remember seeing her take this offering. She just lifts it. She didn't have the strength, and then she just dropped it. Maybe 10 meters, so 5 meters away from that spot. She just dropped, she couldn't. And before she could turn, the crows had come. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, over. And for that brief moment, I just stood and I was just watching this, and I was like, wow, what is this? This felt like like a magical experience. Everybody paused, everybody, and then people moved on because adults move on. They don't hang on to these things. But children hold on to the magic. And for me, it was like, wow, I feel, oh, there is something greater than me. And that something greater than me likes me, loves me, is supporting me. Whatever, I've not bothered to look into the thing. People have asked me, is it your dad? Do you think it is? Is it? It doesn't matter what it is. It is just that experience. And for me, that moment was a moment of reckoning, and I understood that there is something far more bigger than us. And that something that is far more bigger than us is far more compassionate, far more empathetic, far more loving than what we can imagine. So that was my first big moment. I mean, nothing has beaten that. I've acted in cinema. I've seen myself on the big screen in a house full auditorium. So many experiences. I've got awarded by the governor of Karnataka for meritorious service as a theater teacher. But all of that, nothing compares to that moment when, as a 9 year old, I saw this.
So, sir, like when you are compassionate toward others, so there's some kind of feeling inside you. So, like, what does that feel like you for in that instant when you were compassionate toward others for the first time, or when you moved compassion through your hands into another person?
When I'm doing Reiki, you're talking about.
Yeah.
So compassion should be like if you have if you see everybody should have a passport. Right now, most people have, some people don't, but everybody has an Aadhaar card. Right? Ideally, compassion should be like that. Where at least where we are practicing it on somebody else, we are because it's inherent in us, right? So it becomes part and parcel of your practice. So playback theater also sort of is a great ground for that compassion, empathy. The theater is a great ground. So it becomes like you don't think it's a big deal. Like if you ask me, show me Aadhaar card, yeah, it's Aadhaar card. But 10, 20 years ago, some say, hey, show me a passport. Oh, yeah, I got a passport. This is a proud moment, proud experience. That's what I think about. It's a necessary requisite uh, to have in life. Yeah.
So, like you said, theater taught you to express, and Reiki taught you how to feel compassion. So, like, do they still feel like two separate hats that you wear, or have they quietly become one face?
No, they are different and they are similar also.
Okay,
Because I always looked at the theater as space for healing, even before I got into healing myself.
okay,
I always said if you can make it a compassion, kinder, creative, amazing space, what would happen? What if we made theater a safe space? Because I've seen the other extreme. I've seen how toxic it can get. How it can literally pull down the spirit of people, how it can damage people, how it can create massive drama for people. So the opposite of it is what I strive to create in my theater group. So I have a group called the Actors Collective. Now we are based in Bangalore.
okay.
And through our rehearsals, through the processes, the focus is on creating that safety. And when that safety is guaranteed, people perform like tigers, you know. Uh, but otherwise, also they do. In a very traumatic, difficult experience, also people do that. But here it is minus that trauma. That's something that I'm very particular about. So when I was practicing theater already, there was this element that it should help people. And people would tell me, "Oh, this theater is very healing." Or in the playback theater, because I shared my personal story, I feel I feel it has healed me and stuff like that. So then doing Reiki seemed a natural progression. Although Reiki is not about performance or anything like that. It's a one-to-one kind of an experience. But I really love the fact that I have two disparate worlds to pop into. You know, that gives me so much of joy. I never imagined it in this manner, and I can't tell you how blessed I feel that there are two hats I can wear. It's incredible.
So, like, you told us about how these are two hats that you wear. And like, is there a version of you that exists under the stage lights and another who only exists in a quiet healing room? Like, or have the two identities also matched? Or are the two of them also different till now? Like the versions of the professions you practice, you said.
No, no, no. Definitely, they have to be different only.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I mean, the same person, but the requisites of something else is vastly different compared to this, right? So, what happened was, as far maybe this will answer it better. The moment I got into Reiki, I did not do it professionally. For about 10, 12 years, to 10, yeah, from 2012 to about 23, right? That's about 11 years.
Yeah.
I never did it professionally. It was
Okay.
something that I was doing. I was doing it regularly. Almost every day I was doing it. But I was never sharing it with anybody. I never sharing meaning I didn't put myself out there. A lot of people would come to me through word of mouth, my friends, their relatives, and say, I want Reiki healing, and they would do Reiki healing, and then they'd say, what can I give you in return? How much do you charge? I'd say, no, just give me a box of chocolates. Because for energy exchange, there should be some energy exchange for Reiki, especially that you're paying cash or some kind or in kind. So just give me a box of chocolates. Huh? Just, yeah, give me that book or something like that, you know. And they would say, this is really good. You know, you should take this up as a profession. And I would say, rubbish. This is Reiki is not my profession. It's something that I do. I won't even call it a hobby, but it's something of very sacred and of deep value to me. But theater is my bread and butter, and I'm not going to change that. I was only in 3 years ago, 23, that because I suffered a burnout in the theater, that I got into
Okay.
Reiki full time. Okay. So I
Oh,
don't know. So what has happened is because of this practice, right? This 12 years where this was just a practice and I was not doing profession, somehow it has coexisted very beautifully. Where it's like having two drives in your computer, you know, and yeah, it exists. A lot of people operate in just one drive, and that's fine. But here I'm operating in two drives, and it's become very natural. So I don't see
okay.
much of a shift, unless if somebody else is watching the outside say something.
So let us dream like it is a space built for young dreamers who are still searching for their own beginnings. So like what would you gently like tell a 20-year-old version of yourself, someone who is still years away from 2012 or still years away from the healing which you got through life? So what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Yeah, one thing I want to clarify, Let Us Dream is for young at heart dreamers. So people
Yeah.
can be any age, but they need to be young at heart.
Yeah.
For 20-year-old, I would say get a business coach
Okay.
and who will guide you in your work from the business perspective. You know,
Okay.
help you, tell you how to file a return, tell you what an investment is. The money aspect, the finance aspect is very, very important. Okay, thorough knowledge that, and I would say a therapist or a healer to
Okay.
manage the emotional state. Because what happens is both of it should run simultaneously. Okay, when both
Okay.
are running simultaneously, the success that you can experience in life will be phenomenal. So many people are at the business end of things, right? They know all about the practical aspects of things, but emotionally they're very volatile and they cannot handle themselves. They don't know how to communicate. They're having difficulty with the emotional portion. Their own traumas are coming to effect. So, which is why it's very important for both these elements in whatever manner. Whatever manner. For example, this could be access to a grandfather or an uncle who has a very good business acumen, a knowledgeable person. And this could be either a healer, therapist, or a process that one can tap into. You know,
Okay.
some kind of art or in therapy, something which will help one to regulate oneself. That is, emotional regulation is the need of the hour.
Okay.
Because if something is going wrong, a lot of 20-year-olds don't know how to deal with it. Okay. Some 20-year-olds know that at that age, I'm talking about any year. Okay. My generation or your generation, any generation, that's a very volatile period, right? Because you're very new to life. You have the confidence is more than the experience. Like sometimes I wish I had the confidence of the 20-year-old. Okay, to do a lot of things that I want to do, you know. And then I look back and I wish I had the experience or that knowledge of somebody late 40s or 50s. But since that is lacking, these two elements, if they come together, in whatever form, and can help the individual, then success is guaranteed. You don't have to just only go to Europe to study to get that edge and all that. This itself will give you such a boost that the journey becomes that much more easy.
Quite a good advice. So if someone asked you to write the opening line of the chapter, like that hasn't been lived yet, what would you write? Like a chapter in your life.
I think an exciting journey. I just have programmed myself, okay, that
Okay.
the best is yet to come.
Okay.
You know, the best is yet to come. I don't need to know what it is. I don't need to know how it is. I don't need to know where it is coming from. The how, where, why is not my problem.
Okay.
But the best is yet to come, and the best is waiting to come in. So when I have lived all my life like that, and when I've lived like my life like that, Every chapter has opened up with huge potential. Like after my divorce, suddenly I got a rescued Saint Bernard. His name was Bernie. He's no more now, but he gave me so much of joy. I never imagined I would have a dog at home, but somehow it happened. That new friends came into my life, new situations, and I got into television commercial for HSBC, an international film company called Tractor, based in Los Angeles, came to shoot it. It was this video, this advertisement was for the European market. I was chosen out of some 600, 700 candidates. Okay. And the shoot was in Ooty. This fabulous, it was phenomenal. Working with them would like just change my mind. I was like, what am I experiencing? What is this? So life has this potential to give you what you want based on your program. So if I'm going to say, oh, my life sucks, or this is not at the end of it, brilliant. I'm going to get more of those experiences. So that's how my approach has been. So the best is yet to come, and it's all very exciting.
So, sir, like, are you still daring to dream after everything you've lived through? Like, is there still a
Yeah,
dream?
because I don't think I've suffered enough.
Okay.
So
Uh,
yeah, because that's how. Because right now I can't tell you, I'm so happy, I'm so gratified. I don't have any complaints. I'm like I'm good. I mean, so I just look and say, isn't that great? After Reiki, my mother, who lived her entire life as a patient, the moment I started learning Reiki, these last 12 years, how many years is 14 years now, I've taken her to doctor less than 5 times. She's going to be 75. She's the healthiest. She's more healthier than when she was 20 in her 20s, than her 30s or 40s or 50s. So see what's happening. The notion is as you grow older, you will fall ill. As you grow, your everything. That is a rubbish. And I'm proving it to the world uh, with my mother as an example, where somebody is getting older is actually going stronger. She doesn't
so,
take a
sir,
single medicine. Yeah, yeah.
okay. So, sir, like, the triennial conferences, like conferences like this, where one gather like so many beginnings under one roof. So there are so many students, there are dreamers, healers, and storytellers. So, what do you hope someone carries with them after they've heard your side of the story?
I hope I'm always hoping that people have a better understanding of themselves.
Okay.
It's like this.
Yeah.
It's like this. When we are talking to someone and they are telling their story or they are recounting their experiences, suddenly what happens? Automatically, we sort of put ourselves in their shoes. Say, hey, that's interesting. Yeah. What is
Okay.
one takeaway I can take away from this person? From this conversation, what is one takeaway I can take away from whatever this person is saying? I'm hoping that takeaway, whatever the takeaway is, will throw light on themselves. I'm hoping that there'll be a better understanding of themselves because then it's powerful. Because so many times you end up in meeting so many people and there's no takeaway. It's like, oh man, this is such a waste of time, or this person doesn't have much to contribute to my lived experience. I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking that my lived experience can provide a takeaway for this individual. Like, for example, if you're listening to this conversation, I'm hoping at least you will understand there is much more to life.
Yep.
You know, there is much more to life, and that even if you don't believe in Reiki or any of the holistic processes, it's okay. But at least you will understand that there is no language to define it now, which is why you don't understand it. You understand? It doesn't mean it does not exist. So a lot of people who believe that some things don't exist have a conversation with me and leave with the thought that, oh, okay, there is a possibility it may exist. And that is huge.
Like this year's theme is where it all began, and which is not only about looking back, it is also about noticing where something new might quietly be starting. So, is there a beginning stirring in you right now, like which a dream or a beginning which you haven't spoken about yet?
Yeah, so I think now I need to focus on my life as an author. I want to write. There are
Okay.
a couple of things that I've been wanting to write. I've written the draft of an acting manual, like a workbook for actors. Okay, so I have that, but I want to bring it to life, and there's some couple of things that I want to write about energies and stuff like that, about my Reiki practice, and that's something that I've not been able to devote at all in all of these years. But I knew there was always this writer that's itching to write, so I think this chapter definitely is about pushing myself out as an author because that's an identity I want to explore.
So thank you so much, sir. This marks the end of the podcast. Thank you for the honesty
Thank
and for
you.
the seeds and for reminding this room that every beginning is allowed to, be quiet before it's extraordinary. And thank you all for joining this third podcast in the Let Us Dream Triennial Conference series.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.